Hello, 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 hello. Just again. Yes, hello, welcome to another Saturday Night Reaver. Forge of Mars, aka Lee. Welcome to everybody who's dropping in today. Be presumptuous, there's two of you there. No, there's one. So, anyway, we'll just get straight into it, really, for the none of you watching. So, yes, today, the plan, because I have nothing, absolutely nothing prepped and ready. Hey, Andrew. Welcome, dude. Because I've got nothing ready for painting as such, I'm going into build mode, because obviously Wednesday nights we normally do the builds and Saturday we normally do the painting. But last Wednesday we were doing oil weathering and finishing off the Kratos heavy assault tank, or the second one that we've done. Hey, hello Heed, welcome buddy. So obviously, like any good presenter of their worth, not worth much, we have the first one, he says, and oh, hold on, I've got to change my view because the YouTube one is on a delay. So this tank hasn't appeared on my, oh there it is, it's just turned up. And then there's the second one as well. So two Kratos heavy assault tanks, as I said, all armed with Volkite on the side sponsons anyway, auto cannons for the whole sponsons, the Kratos battle cannon, and obviously you got stuck with that anyway. Now, as I said before, with the second one, I'd inadvertently glued this bit at the back here, so I couldn't really swap out the weapon. So this one will always stay as the Kratos battle cannon. It's got manoeuvrability there, but it's just all glued at the back there, and I would have absolutely trashed it trying to lift it out, and I couldn't be asked. This one, however, I can, if I wanted to, pop the top off and swap in for the melter cannon version or the Volkite one. But as I say, I'm happy with the big gun as it is. Decals done, so these are all finished off now, which is pretty good. I'll probably do some little extra bits and pieces on these anyway, because I always do. I will get table ready, game ready sort of finish, and then one day I'll just go, you know what, that needs to be done, let's do this now, and I'll just grab these out of their storage facilities and do some more on them. But as they are, I'm quite pleased with how they've all turned out. So this is for the benefit of those that wasn't here on Wednesday. So these can still pop out. What I'm looking forward to is that with the new Sicarans, they'll have the same fixture, so I could have swap out of weapons, so I can give a Sicaran Volkite, or if it's an option, obviously, or las cannon or something, or heavy bolter. I'm not one for doing fully magnetized weapons. You know, I'm happy with the Volkites because it covers the infantry side of things. So it is a multi-purpose tank. You know, you've got your main battle cannon, which you've got 3 shot types with that anyway. So I really like that option with the Kratos. Auto cannons, because high strength is never a bad thing. For lighter armor, you know, and because I think they also have the rending on 6+, I think. And then obviously the Volkite for the 6 shots, I think you get with this one at strength 6 as well, he says, roughly. But yeah, they turned out really, really nice. I'm really chuffed with them. Yeah, so definitely worth the investment, and that's a heavy support choice for the Imperial Fists here. So I'll get them out again later on if anybody's after seeing them who turn up later on. I know there's a few people who are doing a few things. Engine Phil will be on later on. He actually just messaged me just before coming in live. But today, it's one of these little puppies. The Legion Astartes Demos Pattern Rhino. Fear. Or the Terror. Is it Terror? I think Demos is Terror. Phobos is Fear. So yeah, so without further ado, I shall make the first incision. What are you guys up to tonight? What's on your hobby decks? What is happening? What's happened since we last spoke? Tell us. Tell Lily what you've been up to. So let's just have a look on the back as well. So just showing you the options: Havoc missile launcher, heavy bolter, multi-melter. Obviously the bolters there. I would probably, to be that little bit of a an all-rounder, I would probably stick with actually having the melter. Yes, it's 30 points more, so from 35 points to 65 points. But you've got an anti-tank, anti-dreadnought weapon, and obviously dreadnoughts are going to be big in this new edition because they are very formidable. And you know, a Rhino is no longer just a transport, in my opinion. I've always thought of them being like a light tank. That's why I like to stick the hunter killer missiles. I used to like sticking them on in particular. But now it's got the multi-melter option. I like that a lot. So that's your standard sort of vehicle upgrade sprue that you get with all the tanks nowadays. So you've got sort of a hunter killer there. Yeah, sorry, it's right in front of me. Yeah, the melter cannon, melter gun. Sorry, multi-melter. I'll get it out there one day. Obviously, you can have combi weapons on them as well if you wanted to, just to jazz it up a bit. But at least with that, if you're in for a combi, you've only got the one shot with the combi melter. Although it is a lot cheaper, but that every turn it's alive, it's a danger. It's a threat. But that's what 30 points buys you. Is the melter cannon. So the top section, front, which I don't know if you remember the original Rhino, Demos pattern Rhino from like Road Trader eras, where you used to have the two plates that you had to plug in. They had holes in them, so you just put them in there, or you put the different front on there, which I don't think you get that option here. So no, you don't. So it's literally doors, footplate, the legendary footplate on the side, and hull. So 3 sprues. So the majority is out of the one. You are the one. Standard decals, which they're decals. Probably won't be using them at all. Horse heresy. Next Marine built and undercoated and leaving the paint until tomorrow. So beer and Pringles, nice. I love that sound. I've got my beer, no Pringles though. I've got the remains of my Haribo Tangfastics though. So going there. And good evening, Nalo. Apologies if I have absolutely butchered your tag, but welcome anyway. What are you hobbying tonight? Right, apparently need glue, cutters and mole remover, so I've got them obviously. And so I shall begin with the Rhino. That completely threw me there because of that bit. So B4, turn it round so I can see the actual numbers. That'd be even better, Lee. Well done. So B24. That doesn't sound right. Position of the actual numbers. Well, that's B3. That's B2. Right, sorry, B2, B4's the internal. Okay, I've got it now. I'm under control. So that's that one there then. Right. Now OLAC. Now OAC. Right. Now OAC. And where are you hailing from? Are you UK? Are you Europe? Are you the Americas? Or are you further afield? We like to know where our new friends are coming in from. And people like to hang out. We're all cool with. What did I do that? That's 2 there. Yeah. So just keeping an eye outside because there is a cat roaming around the office, and it might try to get in here and steal stuff. I don't know. Cats do that anymore. They're not much into the hobby, as far as I'm aware. Oh, missed one. What's that? Boop, 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 boop. So that's what we're going for with that on a dry fit. Ireland. I'll be heading over that way next week, actually. Working on aggressors, shoulder pads to finish out squad of 6, and some eliminator backpacks, and hopefully some work on 80 Reaver panels for Legio Defensor. Nice. Defensor is actually, I really love the Defensor scheme, always have. And if I was to do yet another Legio, it would probably be Defensor. I'm struggling to pick up a Legion. What's your game style like, Andrew? What do you like doing? Getting in close, beating the crap out of everyone, or sitting back shooting? Or loyalist or traitor? But then you can have loyalist or traitor of all of them. So, big fan of your stuff on Twitter, and your 80 stuff has been really appreciated. Well, thank you very much. That's what I do it for, is just to help people, you know, get inspired and get into a hobby and enjoy building tiny titans. The miniature apothecary has recently been tagging me quite a lot because he's actually finally got hold of some titans for him and his Mrs. Apothecary. And they've already started building and painting their first warhounds, which are looking really cool. If you wasn't already aware, Andrew, Heed is a big lover of purple, as I am. I love purple, and that is a legitimate choice, especially after the most recent addition to the Praetor line with the Emperor's Children Praetor, which is just a beautiful, beautiful kit. Really like the look of that, and I will definitely be getting one of them. Hey Judge, you was dry brushing, yeah, because you've been on a run with being first, and you missed out. You wasn't the first, although, as happened before, nobody has claimed first. So you could be first, but you have to claim it. Smash the like, you heretics. So one thing about these glues is that they are a bit frivolous with being drippy. Jim Davey, welcome. Painting Nights, trim sucks. Funnily enough, with night trim, what I did with both my House Divine and House Veroni was that I actually painted over the entirety of the armor plates with the trim color and then filled it in. I actually found that a lot easier doing it that way than doing it the other way. But it's dependent on the color that you're using for your trim. So, because otherwise that could be a bit of a hassle. All right, get on to the other sprue now. C2. I know it's one of these two, but I can't see the bloody numbers on this thing. Oh, they're on this side. Ah, so that's C2. All official, innit? Calling first. It's the rules. I don't make these rules up, although I did in this instance. Definitely changed to that. Yeah, it's it does make a hell of a lot of difference. As I said, like trying to pick out trim on Titans is bad enough. On Knights, it's nigh on impossible. But it's still sort of quite satisfying once you've actually got the buggers built and painted. So it's all par for the course, really. Dry brushing neutron laser of all things. Ah, from the Direwolf that he was sorting out last time, wasn't it? So it looks like this has got to be going a certain way up and down. So a little, that's quite handy, Danny, because you've got the little circle there, perfect. So that's how it goes. Genius, the fault of everything. I have heard various reports about how well this goes together, and I think it's mostly to do with the actual baseboard of the hull. So that's going to be interesting to see how that goes together, really. Snug, nice. Yes, still wearing away on it. Stippling will be happening soon. My last Audax model for a bit. Yeah, I always found that with doing hobby projects to take a little break from them, just to sort of give you a refresher. Because otherwise, if you're continuously sort of chomping through, it does get monotonous. And once it gets monotonous, you start to not like doing it. And so you need to spread the love out a bit. Somewhat the new viewers here today, I often used to do little, what I call sorbet projects, something to refresh the palette and do something completely different to what I've been painting. So I'd like go and paint some little Oathsworn miniatures or something, or Gaslands or something, just to take a break from doing all the same thing. Or recently, obviously, doing lots of Marines, but then been doing lots of Titans and just mixing it up between the two, just to sort of like keep a hobby fires burning. Because I say it's when you get sort of into a rut, constantly building the same thing, painting the same model or same type of thing. You know, army building is always a challenge, and it's an endurance project as well. But mixing it up, you know, doing a tank one week or something else, then yeah, just jazz it around a little bit. I figured Fire Titans are plenty onto some purple and black. Oh, he likes the purple. Surprised he hasn't jumped on that. And that's out. other side of the Rhino. Very little details on the inside bits here, so I am not one for painting inside of tanks. I don't like exposing my insides. Ever since watching Braveheart, yeah, don't want to see my insides on the outside. Only 5 rookie numbers. He's done more than just 5. That's his last 5 Audax. I've often, like, with regards to the old Titan side of things, like trying to figure out what the most optimal amount of Titans to have. Purple is calling them 5 is fine. You know, so you could actually mix up and have every sort of mana pool available, sort of thing. I did hear from one of the game's designers, actually, having a chat, and he said something that you would need to have about 110 Titans of the various classes to be able to field every mana pool and every of the faction engines of legend, sort of thing. So it's like, wow. I'd say like 40 odd Warhounds, I think, and so many Reavers, so many Warlords and Warbringers, in order to be able to field every mana pool class type that they have. Obviously, the ones that involve in knights, you would obviously have to have the knights as well. But imagine trying to play a game with that many on your side. That would have been bonkers. But impressive at the same time. 2 Reavers, 3 Armigers on the deck, all weapons fits magnetised. He loves his magnets, does Judge. Don't judge him, for he will judge you. It's still fairly warm over here, which is not fun when you're in the office. Obviously, some of my other streamer friends, like Crystal McDowell, she operates out of her loft, and that gets amazingly hot. So I don't begrudge her and the work that she puts into her hobby streams. Once I get these aggressors and eliminators done, that's 2,500 points of fully painted Raptors. Nice! Raptors are the best. Raptors are just a fantastic chapter. Actually, still got some of my. I think I've still got my eliminators to build. I just never got. Obviously, Titans take precedence, so. Silly, silly boy. I am the law. I am indeed a rookie war engines, but I'm aggressive. Yeah, yeah. You're going with Vordax, you're only going down one route, and that's kill it, bite it, attack the jugular. So that's what they do. Then taking a break from them, then focus on Legion Defensive for a bit. Want to get one half of the models I have painted. Yeah. As I say, mixing it up like that really does make a huge difference to your enjoyment of the hobby as well. Because, as I say, you don't want to get into a rut. I always remember the first time I remember actually suffering from sort of painting fatigue was with, I was doing the Minotaurs, and I honestly felt like I had bronze fever. I was so, the amount of bronze that it was like Sycorax bronze, I think it was, or Sycorax bronze, and you just get so bored after a while. So I had to sort of take a step away and paint something completely different that wasn't bronze, just to sort of desensitize myself. Right, yeah, so one of the things one of my friends did point out was that this back bit here, because that's raised compared to that, so I'm just wondering if he'd, because that's thicker there than that one. So we're going for a dry fit, he says. He's quite, there, goes in with a bit of, yeah, there you go. Probably not getting that out again to glue it, but that's not going anywhere. That's that is stuck. That's definitely not going in there. Ankle biters. These 6 knights, then weapons and magnets for the Titans. Tourney next Saturday. Oh, really? Whereabouts are you going to, Jim? Is it? I think there's a couple on soon, from what I've seen, like adverts and stuff on news feeds. Bronze Fever, baby. We know how to do it. BG sounds. Bronze Fever, Bronze Fever. We know how to do it. So, going for the back door. It's Ivy, my hobby daughter, who don't know if she's on tonight or not, but she's been working on one of these rhinos for her Night Lords, and what she was going for was that the top hatch is open. She's got a guy in the turret with obviously a pintle mount. Mid-Atlantic God Engine Skirmish Round 2, Martinsburg, West Virginia. Way. Well, if you get any nice photographs of the events, please feel free to tag me in them on Twitter or Instagram or whatever you use. I would like to see them and see what's the quality and standard of people's Princeps over theirs Titans are like. Hey, Sophis! Dude, how are you, buddy? I've required interpretive dance of Bronze Fever. Maybe later. And say most of them are deceased at the moment. Yeah, at the moment, well, yeah, actually deceased. She's deceased, aren't you? Really? I was watching. Funnily enough, I think I was staying alive. I like that. Sorry, get my teeth in. On the satellite channel, we always have like the 80s music channel as like music videos as the backdrop. So because if Eleanor's downstairs, she's listening to that sort of stuff, and 80s music school anyway. But Bee Gees came on, and it was Night Fever, and it's sing along. And I always remember, like back in my youth, that Robin, who was like the non-bearded one, the blondie non-bearded one, was meant to be like the real like cute one and all that sort of thing. And I'm watching this video, and I'm looking at him, I'm going, my God, how do people consider him? He looked quite, he wasn't an attractive man as such. Obviously, TVs have improved, sort of thing. Obviously, Barry was always like, with the open shirt and the chain. He was the real, the real man's, woman's man sort of thing. But you just, go, how do people find these guys like attractive? But they've done all right for themselves, bless them. Should not judge and cast stones or whatever. But you know what I mean, when you have like, these people are meant to be like heartthrobs and all that, and then you see them in the cold light of day, and you go, not so much. Might have just been having a bad day at the office, who knows. And as you can probably hear, we've got the young uns are out again in their motorbikes or quads or whatever they're riding around on. Barry was the lion. He was, wasn't he, really? He would gurr at you, I'm sure. Give you a damn good gurring. So, yeah, I'm not going to be fucking about with the internal, so I'm gluing this bastard in. Redo that. Barry's the survivor. Mo was the big brother. Band of Aussies. I can forget about that as well. Couldn't bring myself to go to Nova. The vaccine proof and 100% mask did it in for me. I'm not going to comply, Jim. Let's see if they deny me. I will lurk in the hotel bar if they do. Raw. Let's just say I'm pushing around Titans next to some whiskey in the bar, looking vaguely like Lee. That's me. So what's that? Internals parts. So the old they used to have the old bolter stored on one of these, I'm sure. The internals. Do you remember the Bee Gees walking? Yes, I actually watched that not too long ago because I was in a YouTube deep dive. You know, like sometimes when you just can't sleep, you watch something, and the next minute it's like 2 hours later, and you started watching something completely sort of like, you know, something that you have an interest in, and then next minute you're watching sort of Mexican food tasting videos. Which, you know, how did I get here? Did I turn left at Albuquerque? I don't know. But yeah, it's yeah, that was quite the look of shock on Clive Anderson's face. Was like, oh, okay. But sometimes you get those people acting that way, and they get, you know, he was pushing the buttons a little bit, and obviously they just had enough. I actually remember watching that. I was watching that live as well when that was first on. I used to enjoy watching Clive Anderson's show. Right. So it does go that part then. So this has got a little bit raised here because there's got a little gap there it goes into. The history of luchadors. Next thing you do is watching a guy glue small bits of plastics. Yeah. That's how you found me, wasn't it, really? It was nothing to do with Crystal's channel. Just randomly turned up here one day. So yeah, so the warnings are unfounded so far about how well this goes together, because I think it's gone together rather well. So yeah, it just needs a little bit of a whoosh, as they call it. That's a technical term, you can use it if you wish. Roof section. But yeah, this is quite. I always wanted, like, because the only sort of rhinos I've got, which my Emperor's Children have, were original R2B01 Demos. So say this is my first plastic Demos of the modern era. So I used to have Phobos because they were the only ones for ages. But yeah. I think the availability has improved on getting these kits as well, because they did go out of availability because everyone was buying them. Bee Gees were too talented for the shite. This Direwolf is really lovely sculpt. It is a really nicely configured. Obviously, it's that initial stance. That's what was all the problem. But obviously, once you get hold of it and you do your own things with it, much better. So dry fit to there. I'm trying to think of the Mexican food one that I was watching, because I did actually sort of follow it a bit because it was actually quite funny. It was something like a Mexican survival guide or something. There's two Mexican guys, and they're basically introducing sort of like little recipes and little sort of cakes and stuff that they all enjoy. And some of there's certain things I would love to actually try out if I ever get the opportunity to. I hope one day. I live in hope. A lot of pressing. Check if there's any. Ha 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 ha. Actually. There's my own hairbands. Just to help hold them together a little bit better. I'm hoping to get my gaming group to at least try out Depths of Titanic this summer. I think I'm the only one with enough models to field a couple of mana pools. Well, that's the thing. You just need the one mana pool just to get people interested. Because once they see a game being played, and obviously you have to shout out engine kill, that adds adds to the fun. He says. And that solidify for a sec. But yeah, that's the thing. It's like I've done a couple of demo games with people at get-togethers and stuff like that, and yeah, they've all enjoyed playing a game, even if it was like just half a game. Engine kill or nom nom. Yes, engine kill. Or engine feel, if you want to be a little bit controversial, because engine feel is controversial. Be honest, he's all right. And I say he's just spending some time with the family, but he will be on later, he assured. But yes, that's. Sorry, just housekeeping at the moment. Thank you for the subscription as well. It's much appreciated. And that. Get off, get on. Excellent. The backlog sits at 4 Warhounds, 2 Painted, 2 Warlords, a Reaver, a Warbringer, and a Warmaster. That's a nice little selection. Like I do prefer playing, and I've probably used Warhounds the most. I really like the Venator light maniple, and I know loads of people go, oh, but I like this maniple, I like that maniple, I like the Ferox, I like, you know, Corsair. But yes, you do get some like perks from certain maniples and stuff, but you got to play them right, and you got to play them smart. If you don't play smart, you die. It's as simple as that. If you play the game of Titans, you either live or you die. And a night household set, which is also cool because that gives you a lance. Maybe not. You know, some people would say it's not an optimal lance because the function as a lance, you've got to keep each banner within 6 inches of each other to benefit from coordinated strike rule and stuff. But again, you can do that easy enough on a battlefield if you've got enough scenery, and it's scenery that makes the games. Having hardly anything on the table is not going to be a fun game for you. You want to have stuff that you can sneak engines up or hide behind to get those sort of benefits of cover. Because otherwise, like in the early days of AT, when nobody had any scenery, people were going, "Oh, just sitting there with my warlords and just shooting each other from across each side of the table." Well, yeah, that's what you're going to do because there's nothing to block your shots. And then obviously, as time progresses, the close combat variation of the warlord comes out, or you know, the Reaver beta turns up, so you've got lots of options then for, you know, close combat, but you just need to have good scenery. Normally, like if you're playing a 4x4 board, so if you had like, you know, 4 2x2 game boards, you want to have enough scenery to fill a 2x2, and then you just obviously spread it out, distribute it, and then go from there. Right, that'll do. Punching a building with a Corvus Assault Fist. Corvus Assault Pod, surely, sir. It was never a fist, it was a transportation unit for deploying Terminators and Assault Marines. 3D printed a small city, nice. Again, you've obviously, having 3D printers has helped out with the whole scenery side of things. I know like Grimdark Terrain with their Patreon deals, where like each month you've got a whole lot of stuff, STLs you can download, and the stuff that they produce there is just phenomenal. Really atmospheric looking kits, and I kind of hope, you know, we see more. But I'd like to see more stuff from Forge World, I'm not going to lie, or Specialist Games, or GW for that matter, in regards to scenery. But, you know, the Grimdark Terrain stuff, for those that have access to a printer, is definitely worth having, because there's so much glorious looking scenic buildings and, you know, characterful sort of facilities as well, you know. So you've got so much to play with, which is beautiful. And that's what you want in these games. Right. Pardon me. Let's get on to the tracks. Where are the tracks? Alright, B22. So which way we're looking? This side. B22. More terrain, more! That's right. You shout it out. buddy. Unleash the terrain monsters. Butterfly. So, what I'm thinking it's going. B19, where are you, B19? There you are, B19. There was a Corvus head with a Corvus pod attached to the arm, but I will accept your rebuke. Very gracious of you, sir. Having to imagine the inside of a comm station shrine has me looting all the train I can get a hold of. Sound very orky there. That's very suspect. Are you sure you're of the Imperial faith? Are you sure that you're human? B20. I was kind of hoping that Alex was going to turn up tonight as well. He was in here on Wednesday, and after a conversation with one of my friends, Mauler, he decided to take it upon himself to watch The Expanse. I know he actually tagged me in a Twitter post the other day saying that he got through season 1, and then the last few episodes he was like, what the shit is happening? And then he was starting season 2, so I just wanted to see how he was doing. Foxyfly. B21. Longy. I think B21 is probably the favourite part of most hobbyists when building tanks or building Rhinos, because it's that big long track. Goes on the bottom. Yeah, no, the Boys is also another one which is pretty cool. It's very fucked up in places, but it is interesting to watch. Funny, I think, was it Judge you recommended Terminal List? I've been watching that for the last week, and that is actually quite good. So thank you for that. It does, though, remind me of a film in a way that Michael B. Jordan done, which I can't remember the film, but it was the same sort of concept. He was like, you know, special forces, and somebody kills his wife and kid, I believe, and then he goes off. But I'm not sure if he was dying. I don't think he was dying in it. But yeah, no. So it's been fun so far. Unpredictable shows are the best. Yes. And that's the thing I always say about, and I said on Wednesday about The Expanse, is that from where you start off to where you end up, you just would not imagine it. You could not imagine it. But it's got such great acting talent in there. It's all got the science in the science fiction. And yeah. Welcome. It makes me emotional. It's so good. Jack Carr is a better SEAL than writer than he knows what work. But he knows what works. Nearly finished season 4 of The Expanse. Yeah, that's one of the things. The season 4, Cibola Burns, in the books is considered the weakest book out of all the books. So when Amazon first, because that's when they first took over, was with season 4. But they made it look really, really good. And the characters, again, like the whole thing between Murtry and Amos is just beautiful. It is beautiful to behold. B5 ended up way deeper than it began. Still a favourite. The Prisoner. Yeah, I've actually been to the town where that was filmed. It's a place called Port Merion in Wales, sort of North Wales. You go from where sort of the top left hand corner of Wales. It is a really lovely place, and it was built by like an eccentric sort of millionaire sort of thing. Who had these ideas about houses. You can actually, when you go and visit a place, you can actually stay there as well. Like they have, like, you know, places there, not like hotels, but, you know, I'll get the point. Yeah, do it. It is really, really lovely up there, and obviously from there as well, Snowdon and Snowdonia National Park is only like half an hour, 40 minutes away. So yeah, it's totally worth it. And Wales is actually a really nice, picturesque country to visit. I was in the village. My other half actually had her prisoner jacket, and with a little badge. We bought an umbrella. But yeah, everything that you see in the prisoner is real. It's there. There was one place which was like a frontage, but it's nothing behind it. But that was actually, I don't know, done before the TV show, I believe, as to make the place look a bit grander. But yeah, they have all like sort of the people visiting, getting into character as well at times, when they do their little sort of festivals of the prisoner sort of thing. When we were there, they actually had nothing prisoner related, but they had the Lotus Owners Club was there. Pembrokeshire is another great spot in Wales to visit. Blue water, lovely views, nice beaches too. I'm not biased at all. But yeah, it was a really lovely country. Stayed there. It must have been, I think, like 4 years ago is when I was actually over there. Obviously, not done a lot in the last 2 years. And before that, in 2019, went to Denmark twice. Don't think that was when I went to. Yeah. But yeah, no, it's definitely, it's very kooky, but there's some really lovely places around there as well. Being on like the coast, there's actually a big like lake that it sits on, and it's all like wooded around there as well. So it's very, very nice indeed. So again, I can't say a bad word about it because it is very lovely and picturesque. There we go. I know Nottingham is a prison town, but I find it's quite relaxing compared to our American cities. The gent challenging me to a street fight was very entertaining on my last visit. Yeah, Nottingham has got, say, it's nice. There's some lovely places around Nottingham as well. You've got all the history there from obviously, Sheriff of Nottingham and all that sort of jazz. And you've got Warhammer World, which obviously you've visited in one form or another. But yeah, it is again a lovely place, but it is known as the gun crime capital of England, apparently. You said I was travelling to Ireland next week. Whereabouts you headed? It's a very short trip. I'm going over there to a friend's birthday party. But because the way flights and all the sort of like airplane centres have changed over through COVID and all that, where I live in Essex on the east side of England, I'll be flying into Dublin and then travelling up from there. Travelling up from there to Northern Ireland. So literally landing on a bus up to Northern Ireland, there for a day or two, and then back out again, because family commitments and time off, I don't get a lot of opportunity. So it is a very fleeting visit, unfortunately. I would like to have more time, but time for someone like me, I don't get a lot of time to do sort of adventures and stuff. But yes, it's something I've been wanting to do for a very long while, and seeing all my Irish friends from both north and south, because we all congregate for our friend's birthday party. So you southern, I take it. So you said Ireland as well. Spinning it. Well, you didn't call it. Yeah, you Ireland. So yeah, you are southern Irish. Whereabouts are you in? Yeah, the trip to Jerusalem. I find spot as a hole in a literal wall. A handy spin since it's motorway all the way. I spend a lot of time on the road for work, environmental engineer. Hi, southeast Waterford. Ah, I've got friends in Waterford. Yes, they're in Waterford, not Wexford. No, it's Waterford. Yeah. But half finished to boot. Yes. One of my very good friends who was living in Ireland until recently, which was Kilkenny, I think it was, if I remember. But she's German, and if you speak to her, she's got more of an Irish accent to her speech, because she speaks several languages as well. But she used to work for Games Workshop, translating the books into German or French. But she moved to Ireland and she settled down with her girlfriend, and was out there for several years and was learning Gaelic. But unfortunately, they split up, and now she's back in Germany. So yeah, you got a very multicultural country. My friends who live down Watford way, one of them is an author, and she does a lot of sort of historical stuff involving sort of Gaelic gods and goddesses, like Morrigan in particular, and her partner John. He does a lot of sort of like verbal history storytelling with his work and stuff. So they're always out doing visits to sort of barrows and bloody fly. Ha! But yes, and I've seen like from their posts and like the scenery around there along the coast as well. It's very, very beautiful down that way. I am a fan of your country, a very green and pleasant land. I miss visiting. Hope springs eternal, and I shall make it across in the next 5 years. Well, obviously, when you do, if you're coming over this side to the UK side, then obviously we'll arrange to meet up at Warhammer World or something. Because that's what everybody does. Because it probably has changed quite a lot since you was last there. When was the last time you was over here, Judge? Out of interest. Your last visit. It's really quite warm in here today. Meet up at the local would be better. 2008, many changes, lots of changes. Funny enough, the first time that I actually went to Warhammer World was 2009. And that was for a gaming, it was a tournament, but it was not a GW run tournament. It was a hobby group that I was involved with online called Templars Fugitives. And these guys actually, I would say, were partially sort of responsible for the creation of the Horus Heresy, because they were probably the first group. Now, I didn't take part of this, my friend did, but I didn't. First group to actually do Horus Heresy gaming at Warhammer World, and they'd created their own rule sets for Primarchs and stuff, so you could actually have, you know, Vulcan, Horus, and all that sort of stuff. And I seem to remember my mate saying about Alan Bligh, because obviously he worked there in, like, you know, mail order and stuff with John French up in those days, I believe, or he might have just started writing, I'm sure, but he was actually there as well, and like having conversations with everyone with what they were doing. And then, you know, a few years later, wait, look, because it was such a, everyone was so enthusiastic about doing it, it you know, it obviously lit a sparkler. You know, we've had the Badab books out sort of recently around then, I think, or they came out slightly after that, and then from Badab, because the whole idea of Marines playing Marines, it seemed, you know, no, we can't have Marines versus Marines, but they did it, and it was so popular, and it's still popular even today, the whole Badab campaign, and it's that was eventually evolved into redoing the Horus Heresy in 28mm. I've never been to Warhammer World, but would love to arrange a trip over. However, next year's priority is download for my 40th. Well, where download is, it's literally, if you've got a car, you are 20 minutes away from Warhammer World. So why not both? Because people do that. People go to one thing. Like when we were doing the last, or even several Horus Heresy weekenders were held at hotels. The last one was at East Midlands Airport, which is a good sort of 20 odd minutes away, at least 20-25 minutes away, which is near where download is, funny enough. So people would be going at, you know, the Horus Heresy weekender there, but then some of them would jump in a car, drive down to Warhammer World, because they've got more stuff on offer there to buy. So, yes. Yes. So it's not a million miles away. So that's right. There you go, Donington Park there, and where the O is just before that. Where are we? Beeston. Ah, it's over this way. Ah, go away. yeah, so basically, there's Thingy, Donington Park, and you just get onto the. It's quite easy access to the M1, then up here, and you're in Nottingham. So it is literally only like about 20 minutes drive from Donington. The problem getting out of Donington is obviously I've been there to actually pick up a friend one night after the thing. I got there at midnight on the Sunday, so near to Donington, and then it was queuing up and took an hour to travel about half a mile to where the actual entrance is. So yeah, it gets a bit busy. Yeah. So yeah, at certain events they actually open it up so it's free to wander around at events when they close off everything. But for however much it's cost, it's worth it just for the trip down memory lane. To be honest, because there's so much stuff there from the old days that you can see, look at, gaze, and wonder at, and it's totally worth it. B9, B8. So that's your plans for the future all sorted out. And I'm sure there'll be people, like loads of people, do that sort of stuff. You know, just hang out, go to Warhammer World, spend a day down there after a gig. It's like a few years ago, after one of the weekenders, there was a guy at the weekender when I got to play AT for the first time. Well, AT in the new form, sort of thing, as a demo game. This guy there, who's called Frank, I could have made him a legend because he just disobeyed orders and just went off and beat the crap out of a warhound. Sorry, but you know, he even got named in the Sunday seminar when they're talking about AT after doing these little demo games that you could participate in. Because I named him Frank on the Flank. Because he just ran up this flank with a Reaver, power-fished and melter-gun Reaver, and drew so much fire, but he took so much damage, but he managed to get up to his warhound and power-fist it in the face off of the table, and you know, became a legend. And then you find a community post, picture of him standing there, not smiling at all, because they have this thing on the big display where it's the Ultramarines defending against Chaos. The massive display, they stick a Vindicar assassin somewhere, and if you spot where the Vindicar assassin is, you can basically get somebody's attention and say, I've seen the Vindicar assassin, and you actually win an assassin. And people just spend ages just staring through it because it's so detailed. It's beautiful to look at as well, to be fair. Yeah, you just see this picture of him not enthusiastic, smiling or anything. You know, you just won something. And he's like, but yeah, he was a little legend, Frank on the Flank. It was actually, I think it was Andy Hall actually messaged me and said, your friend Frank on the Flank is up to his old tricks. Oh, bugger. Oh, fuck. Frank on the flank. The HQ location is a real treat. Basically, a toy soldier city internalised location. It's a lovely place to visit. Hey, Andy's my mate. He's also the head of specialist games. Hippity-doo. What's the front? There's a proper ledge. Grass. It's so very uncomfortable. I don't know why it's so warm. Temperature's not there. Oh, it's 23 at the moment. No wonder it's warm. Feeling rather uncomfortable. Look at the bloody oh, sorry. Personal text has come through. My friend's over in Disneyland at the moment, and he's built himself a lightsaber. Oh my, he's looking so good. Picture of himself with his new lightsaber, just saying "in heaven." I love the interview that Andy Hoare did on the Independent Characters podcast. I'm not sure. Oh, that's Carl, isn't it? Carl Tuttle. Yeah, I've not heard that one. I must do that. I'll look that up. I think I got to follow their podcast on Spotify, but I've just been listening to Second World War stuff. That's been just really awesome. Ask Andy about the man dressed as a Ungor who was on a cubicle wall in the studio. He will know the reference. I will do when I speak to him next. Oh, door time. Do some doors. Yeah, no, those lightsabers do, but this is like, you know, a once in a lifetime family holiday kind of situation. And yeah, he actually has a podcast which I have referenced a few times on here called It's a Chat. So it all started off Star Wars, but they've done other movies and stuff since. But it's just like a couple of guys watching the films, and then obviously going through all the bits and pieces and little facts and stuff. It's really good. I'm not just saying that because it's my mate, but it is a really good listen, which is available on Spotify and other platforms of such. It's a chat. Just enthusiastic guys like ourselves, really. But one of them, Paul, his buddy, is he works in the film industry, so obviously he's got that side of things covered. It was about the development of AT and the history of it all. They all really loved the game. Sadly, the podcast has since ceased. Still great stuff to listen to. Yeah, I'll definitely have to track that one down. Snug as a bug in a rug. Sweet! I remember James Hewitt, who was the main rules writer for AT, because it kept on getting sort of put back because of other sort of pressing issues of games releases. That sort of helped him and Christopher Drew to design the models and get them all roughed up, and just sort of make sure everything was tickety-boo. And that is why the game system is, you know, is a really good and easy game system to work with, because it had time to actually go through it and iron it all out and stuff. Not just play testing, but through everything. Enthusiasm is the heart of GW, truly. Of course it is. It's obviously through Andy, and obviously through my work has been me in regards to sort of Titans and everything sort of thing, and a few sort of instances at Heresy Weekenders, like with the Tyrannus Owners Club when that was sort of founded and stuff, that he was kind enough to actually have my Reaver Titan named as an engine of legend. I had no idea what basically happened, because I like always ask him, so like, you know, anything for the Firewolves coming out and stuff, because obviously, you know, Firewolves were my main boys. And he actually messaged me one morning and said, you listening to the you're going to be watching the stream today, or suggesting that I should watch the stream when I was doing like the old thing on Warhammer TV when I used to do like little show and tell and stuff. So I went, oh right, okay. He said like, you know, there's something on there there's something on there you might like. So I'm like, oh, is he just dropping a little thing to say that it's a fire wasps? Ooh. And then that's when they announced the Engines of Legend. So I'm like, ooh. And obviously, as they're talking through it, they've done the loyalists, and they come up to the last one. I said, "Oh, the last one is a special one. It's a Reaver Titan, and it's from the Fire Wasps." And at that point, I was excited. I thought, "Oh wow, it's a Fire Wasps at last, woohoo!" and stuff like that. And then he goes, and its name is Iracundus. And I just went, ah, because I was with my kids in a McDonald's. We were sitting down eating our food, and I'm watching this stream because I'm watching it live. You got to watch it live because I wanted to see what was going on, and I just went like, made this like weird noise because they've just said that it's Iracundus is an Engine of Legend, and yeah, I was just like, and if you ever watched, go and find that episode, which was I think like 25th of May 2019, that one, I remember the date, and yeah, it was just like, he goes, and somebody, because my tag back then, before the Forge of Mars became the Forge of Mars sort of thing, like on social media, my tag was 10 Ghosts. And he, like I said, and somebody called named 10 Ghosts is very excited in the stream, and you basically look on the chat, you see him going, "Oh my Omnissiah." I was like freaking out. And then they sort of announced and said why. And everything. Like, it was just a really, you know, it's a high honour. He named me a hobby hero as well, which was a big thing back then when it was like Carl Tuttle got the award. If you go into Warhammer World, there's awards of hobby heroes that people had voted for, and he named me a hobby hero because I was a hobby hero. But I don't get my name on the wall. But yeah, no, it was just absolutely crazy, and I just went, "Oh my god!" Made really strange noises in a McDonald's somewhere. So yeah, there's a story for some people that have never heard that before. I've said it many a times, I'm sure. People who are deemed nerds in the US are enthusiasts in the UK. It is a crucial difference in understanding which is not recognised by most. Enthusiast is positive, nerd and geek is derogatory. It's still a big thing, Lee, because you have the cred to those that were there at the time. As I say, it's just, you know, it's such a nice thing. It's a sort of thing, as a hobbyist, you all sort of look forward to. Hey, Rob. Hey, buddy. So you're sneaking in there. How's your Charybdis? I don't hang out here for nothing. Oh. Well, I say, this is just... I do these hangouts just so people can hang out, chat, and, you know, it's not just about me, it's about you lot in the chat as well, you know. Because it's always nicer to have company when hobbying, and not so much like listening to audio books or listening to music is one thing, but you know, you could be doing something, you could just look up, type in a question, and say, you know, anyone got any dealings with this, or any suggestions I can do with this, and you know, you've got several people who can reply. And it's just nice having. And yeah, I know I'm the one doing all the talking here, so I do apologise on that side of things. But you know, I read out your messages that you put in there, and obviously it gets some other people talking, and we all hang out, and we're all cool. All cool with everything that's going on. Quality expresses itself. Magnetize the legs of it. Thank the gods Leaky made a video with some build tips. It's why Faramir is my favourite Tolkien character. Faramir is actually one of my favourites as well, and I kind of, back in the early 2000s when that was around, Faramir, I felt I actually had a similar look to Faramir. But yeah, Faramir is an awesome character, and you know, living in the shadow of Boromir is one thing, but having a deranged father who's trying to set fire to you, that's not good. Oh my, the Nuln oil on the trim is finally done. Woohoo! So much good advice on the screw tube. Embrace the Nuln. I'm more of a Agrax person myself, but wash is a wash, shade is a shade. Embrace the horror. If I'd been thinking, I would have bought a tube of black oil paint and done it that way. Loads of different ways, lots of techniques, lots of things to do to make the stuff happen for you. Your box of doom. Painted a new Warcry terrain today. Finished one of the war bands of it yesterday. Kind of glad to be back on the heresy stuff. You do get through a lot of stuff, buddy. That boy's got you working good and proper. Keeps you off the streets, I guess. Silver trim, good would have the Agrax for sure. Yeah, it's like I've got one bottle of Agrax, and I've probably got around about 9 bottles of one bottle of Nuln and many bottles of Agrax. I did actually on one live stream. I just pulled out a load of them. There was about 10. Grass. Foot plates. It's so warm. It's really uncomfortable. I had a shower when I got in from work, and I feel disgusting already. Actually, 2 showers today. That boy's got talent. Blood bowl, but noises. I still have my original bottle of Nuln. I rarely use it. I literally breathe Agrax. But at the end of the day, like you work to how you want your things to look. So if Nuln's the one for you, you use Nuln. You know, if you like Agrax, you like Agrax. There's no right or wrong. It is super muggy today, yeah. This is my first hobby stream. I have to say I'm enjoying this lark. well, it's much appreciated, and it's always nice to have you people are here to join us, sort of thing. You know, I'd be going anyway. Sorry, loud. I'd be going anyway. So be it sort of 2 people in the chat, be it 12 people in the chat, you still get the same stuff going on. And it's nice having somebody there with you that you can interact with who are also hobbying, because I found I used to do like say hobby hangouts with my mates. You know, on a Monday night we called it paint club. Didn't talk about it, but you know, we found that, you know, because there was various levels. I was probably the most experienced at painting armies. My friend Scott, the one who ran the podcast, he's a really, really talented painter, really, really good. So he takes that a little bit longer. And at the time, my friend Jim was just sort of starting out in it. Like he had the basics, but you know, you had the 3 tier. So you had like the mass producer, you had the artisan, and then you had the new blood sort of thing. And so it would be for a couple of hours on a Monday night after I'd go there straight after work to my mate Scott's, and we'd all meet up there and do some hobby for a few hours and then bugger off home. And you found that you produce a lot more in that situation than if you were on your own at a hobby desk somewhere. You know, you've got interaction. Yeah, you might get distracted and be chatting about, you know, oh, do you see that film, or you see that TV program, or you watch that football match or whatever. But with that sort of camaraderie, you're all working at the same thing. You're all hobbying, and it is a nice environment to be in, and you can be very, very productive. So that's the whole basis for these hobby hangouts, is basically to have, you know, sometimes I obviously showing a new kit, one newish kit. Obviously, it's taken me a while to get around it, so I had all these bloody Kratos to get through first. But it's great just to have other like-minded people in the hobby, just talking hobby. You know, we don't get into global politics or anything like that. We're just here to hang out and chat and just be decent dudes and dudettes. So all mingle and have fun. Whew. After a little chat, really hot. So yeah, obviously with my little visit to Ireland next week, so it's next weekend. So next Saturday's hobby stream will not be on because I'll be at birthday party. But I will be back on Wednesday for the Wednesday midweek, Wednesday night Warlord as it's known. So Saturday Night Reaver, Wednesday night Warlord. It was a name. We're still working with it. Humidity finally died here, but another shower is in the queue. Welcome now, OAK. It's a pleasant crew. Yeah, I'm quite fortunate. Like the regulars here are really, really friendly, helpful. You know, like Judge and Rob are both experienced hobbyists. Jim, this is your first one. You've been here a couple of times before. I think you've snuck in. I'm sure. I recognise the name. But yeah, there's normally a few others that are here on a Saturday. Like Ivy, Mousebait, who is again a really great painter. But we do get a lot of others, like friends of mine. Yeah. Yeah, you, Jim. Because I have a problem identifying people from tags on YouTube to tags on Twitter to tags on Instagram, because you know it's all over the place, and some people have different names for different things. So I apologise, and yeah, I'm sorry if you have been here regularly. I've done 1 or 2. I've got to go for a bit. We'll post up progress pics in the gram. Awesome, dude. Well, thank you anyway. I'll say. As I said, I knew I'd seen your name. But yes, thank you for hanging out with us again. and we look forward to seeing what you've been up to tonight. Well done getting on Warhammer Community Hobby Hangout again, Lee. Thank you. Yes. And I have to say, because I got messaged that on the Thursday. I'm sure it was on the Thursday I got messaged that. I woke up and found the message about asking permission and all that sort of thing. So yeah, sure, no worries. Yeah, cool. Yeah, I'm happy. Just get it on there. But this is the second one where I've been the first out the gate, which was like quite a surprise. So this was I missed it because I was at work when the roundup was on, but this is the first one that I've had Louise hosting with Lizzie. So I always got like Nick or Wade. So it was the first one with Louise as well. So that was really cool. And they were quite, there's some nice things about it as well. So I was over the moon. About my little Emperor's Children Purple Posse. Experience is a stretch. Long struggling is more accurate. Yeah, I'll shut up. Wednesday's using my Crusade campaign night, so I'm really hobbying. Yeah, no worries. I say viewing is not mandatory, but you're always welcome whenever you're about. If you're at a loose end, pop in, say hi. You know, it's all good. I've just got home avoiding wife aggro. No, that's fine, dude. Go save your skin. So if you're back later, then you're back. If you're not, we'll see you at another time. So take it easy and keep your head down. And good luck with the Mid-Atlantic tournament next week. May your target solutions be accurate, and may your enemy's shield rolls be crap. I try to hobby once a day for at least an hour. It's a ritual at this point, which is cool. Figure 1 out of 24 is a minimum effort. Hobby whenever you can. So I was used for a very long time to be like a very mobile painter. Literally everything was in a couple of boxes that I kept in the back of my car, and I would, hobby either sitting in the car waiting to pick my kids up from school, or at work. I used to get my stuff out once the boss had gone and do some hobby whilst, stopping whilst when customers coming, obviously. I keep the lights on and keep myself in an occupation. Boring guy Jim, yay! See, it's nice to know who the people are. So, Jim Davey, who he just tagged me in his Instagram post. So that's why 2 and 2 came together, because I knew what he was working on. I plan to put the Reaver carapace you got me on a base and have the Cryptus burning through it. Oh, yes, dude. Do that. That sounds freaking gnarly. Yeah, so basically my last full-scale Reaver Titan that I got back in March. Yeah, back in March I got it. And I did a live stream of box opening of said Reaver, and it was going quite well until I got, the parts, like the release agent wasn't really an issue on the resin. It was nigh on flawless as well. Very little cleanup I had to do with that one. But then I got to the carapace, and the back part of the carapace that goes round the top mount were broken off. The strange thing was the parts weren't in the kit. They were never in the box. And like when you're opening up, doing that, and you're going, oh, okay. And it also coincided that one of my friends who actually works for Forge World in the quality control section was also watching, and he was messaging me going, I need to know who the name on the checklist was. I went, here you go, because that was quite a major thing not to have a part. If the broken part was in there, I would have just repaired it, because that's the kind of guy I am. But there was no bits in there, so it would have looked horrible, and you spend out a lot of money for these kits. But they did replace it. It did take a bit of time, but Rob had a Reaver that he had, but he wasn't putting it together. It wasn't in his production list at the time, so he kindly sent me his one, and I said, all right, well, I'll give you the replacement once I receive it. And I also gave him the damaged one because he would use it as a basing thing for something, and that's what he's doing now by all accounts. So it worked out for the hobbyists, and the world was saved, and my Titan got finished in time for the Greetings from the Warp event in April. It was the first event where all my full mana pool was available, because up until then I was only had 4 Titans of Axiom mana pool. So, and me and Rob walked together side by side, slaying the enemy, destroying many Titans in the process, for the loss of 1 brave Warhound of Rob's. Plus he got to kill things. I want to try the cooling metal effect, deep reds and molten bits in the base. As I'm on the road a fair bit, I always bring a hobby backpack with me. Has light paint sets, hobby case and stuff. That's the thing. It's like, it's a great, time reliever. If you can do some painting somewhere, it's not hard. Just sitting down, just have a little bit on the passenger seat, get your paints, as long as you're obviously not spilling stuff on the seats. But yeah, you say, why not? I've painted models in a field. I did. I was actually, one of my favourite ones was which I was painted in the car. I was going to a guy's house to play, to meet up with a few other people and play Space Hulk, and this was like the first time of meeting these guys in the flesh. I've met him, but so I drove all the way up to where he lived. Took me like a couple of hours, and he was late. And so as I'm sitting there waiting, I basically got out the paints, and the time it took him to actually turn up and, you know, then everyone else get there and all that sort of stuff, I'd actually painted a, you know, the dead Marine from the Space Hulk game, who's sitting on the throne. I painted him up as a Nova Marine. So he was pretty much done by the time he turns up. That sort of sudden hobby work is what makes progress possible. Your influence will cause me to paint 40k Warhound. Shame on you. I've got broad shoulders. I accept the responsibility of you doing a Warhound time. So yeah, do it. Warhounds are cool though. Their toes can get in the sea though. They're just, oh my god. So much work to go into those toes. Waiting for Studio X Mobile Studio to make it to production. Awesome. I'll make it so I can't take it off to use in the game, but figured that'd be a nice base. Yeah, fuck it. You know, might as well, because that's the thing. That's your like calling card of making really awesome bases. Maybe one day if I grow up, I'll do basing on base. Although I'm really crap. I tried doing a base for a Warhound, and it's been sitting there for about 3 years. Because I was doing like the angle grinder discs, sort of thing, cutting discs. I was using one of them and putting like stuff on it, and it just really doesn't look good. I'm not the great. I know like my AT stuff. Yeah, that's one thing, but bigger models bases, I'm not that hot. that's my excuse, and I'm sticking to it. I accept the toe pain. I shall make me stronger. Yes. Yes, it will. Embrace the horror. Which is a motto of mine. Gosh. All in all, so apart from obviously chatting lots and articulating all that, Rhino's gone together quite well. No, she won't. She won't disown me. For some reason, she likes me. But, as I say, AT stuff I can get away with my lackluster basing skills. That base that she's done with her Contemptor Dreadnought is just brilliant. The detail in there. I can't do that sort of stuff. I don't have the imagination. That's why I'm like really sort of like chuffed to see her, and she's enjoying it as well. She's enjoying doing Space Marines, which she didn't ever imagine she would, which is cool. And she's done a great paint job of those Sons of Horus. She actually she messaged me yesterday saying like, you live streaming tonight? I went, no, it's Friday. Saturday. Oh, right, okay. So she might have popped in. I think Chrissy was going to pop in, but I've noticed that she's watching. I saw on Facebook that she's watching the director's cut of Blade Runner with Joe, so not seeing her tonight. It's a cute little thing, isn't it? How are you going to get 10 Marines? Yeah. That age-old question, how'd you get them in? Pack them in. Right, so that's that. So that's all the parts on the 2 vehicle sprues done. So it's just down to these turrets, really. Oh dear. I think we all have our own little niches. Basing is just not mine. I've improved a lot because until AT came about, my basing technique was purely using texture paint and dry brushing and washing. That was it. But then I got creative and created a monster. Get that there. So how is everyone's progress going so far? Update, people. Where have we got to? Slowly. Ah, dear. Know that only too well. Smoke launchers, got to do the smoke launchers. Getting even a nice even ivory monument hobbies on the aggressive shoulder pads is a pain. Yep. Back. Step by step, inch by inch. Slowly but surely. Glued Charybdis body, it's a chunky beast. I'm still debating on the Charybdis. It's I've always been a drawn to it because it does look a bit fantastically awesome. But yeah, just never been able to fully commit. You've got movement. Where's that box are? Oh, hello, Mechanical Frog. How are you, buddy? I'm still debating whether or not I want to pop 20 melter gun Marines in it. That's option. Are you getting the Leviathan as well, though? Because then you've got two options to go into a Charybdis. 20 of them, or one Leviathan. Or get two normal drop pods and have two squads of 10 melters going down either side of the the Leviathan in the Charybdis. That would have fun written all over it. How are you, Mechanical Frog? What are you up to tonight? What's happening in the mecha world of the Frog Empire? I think I need a celebratory sweet. Tongue fast it. I'll paint some Jade Falcon elementals for Monday's video. Nice, nice, nice. Yeah, was it Mech Warrior 2, Ghost Bear's Legacy, that introduced me to, well, no, because the first one was Clan Wolf versus Jade Falcon, wasn't it? Because they were the big sort of rivalry of those clans, and then with Ghost Bear's Legacy, it was them and the Smoke Jaguar, wasn't it? Who got eliminated. A13. Oh, there you are, A13. Aha, I do want to get a few Dreadclaws. Seem a waste to put a single Leviathan in the Charybdis. It wastes 10 spaces. I think you can only pop one Dreadnought in a drop pod. Dreadnought drop pod. Oh, and here's the engine Phil. He's here at last. Yeah, if you're not following Mechanical Frog, by the way, follow him. If you like Battletech, he does all that shit, and it's awesome. It's high quality awesomeness as well. The man's dedicated. A15. My eyes, there you are. Are you doing your word bearers, Phil? Oh, no. Oh, hero. I feel bad now, Frog. Never followed you, just fixed that. Well, well done. That was just a tester. We'll do Dark Angels first. Oh, you're going back to what you know. That's the thing, though. You're going to go back to them without realising it. You'll wake up in a cold sweat, and then you'll have, like, word bearers all in front of you. You think, I don't remember this. I don't remember doing this. $2K points, I reckon, to begin with. Sounds good to me, dude. If anyone's got the Liber Chaotica, Liber Hereticus, or Liber Loyalists, can you just check on the Rhino listing and just make sure they come? I think they come with bolter or combi bolter as standard. You just check which one, if it's just a bolter or if it's a combi bolter. Sorry, if it's it's a combi bolter, isn't it? Standard, I'm sure. And then the melter is an upgrade. Yeah, he's a really weird connection for the pintle mount. But that's in. That's all that matters. All that matters in this situation is getting it in. Quite literally. Oh, you simple sod. Just lining that up there. So nutters. Sorry. Appreciate it, Rob. I'll work hard to earn it. Twin linked, right? Cheers, twin linked bolter. Let's get me some twin link bolter. Damn flying ants. Damn, I put the wrong lid in. Sometimes I should really pay attention to what I'm actually doing. Does help. Just when you think the tank has enough bolters, add one more, then add another. All the bolters. So that's actually, you know, you've got combi bolter, so that's 24-inch range. Assault, I think, 2, something like that. And then you've got your melter, multi-melter, which 65 points for a tank that can move 14 inches. Yes, it's not, you know, not the greatest at survivability, but that could get into some really uncomfortable positions for somebody and then shoot them with a multi-melter shot at close range. Or have it full of troops. So yeah, so it's a nice little surprise for anybody. Obviously, smoke launchers as well. I think smoke launchers are standard with the Rhino as well. Oh, yes. All right, yeah, we're getting. Right. Yes, there's a tank. Sorry, I'm getting bloody flying ants in here now, so that's never fun because they look a bit on the red side, which is unusual. But yes, one Rhino. Yeah, I thought they were. I think it's the what do you call it? The searchlight. I think you just pay about 5 points for, or something like that. Yeah, definitely worth having. In my opinion, I like the idea as a support vehicle for a 10-man tactical squad. That's not too bad. You know, it's, again, it is. Depends what's shooting at it, but then whatever shoots at this is shooting at this and not at your veritable troops or something else. But it is a threat because you have them charging around the battlefield with melter cannons with multi melters on. That could be quite a conundrum of sorts. Yeah. So that bloody. Yeah, that fixing is a bit of a bitch. Oh shit. That's not that one, is it? So I think this might actually help. Yes. So with that fixture, it's definitely best to remove the stud around the side for it to actually sit more snug. Oh, snuggles. Oh, god damn it, flying ants. Will you just fuck off? No, it did for 24 hours, if that. Metallica enters the chat. Hello, Metallica. You know there, son? How are you? Had a good day at work? Speaking of Metallica, I know Filipito will appreciate this as well. I saw on my newsfeed earlier on the guy who plays Eddie from Stranger Things. Being attacked. I feel like King Kong. Grrr. The guy who plays Eddie in Stranger Things actually met with Metallica recently and got to jam with them doing Master of Puppets. Lars was actually quite friendly. Counted him in everything. Yeah, so they jammed doing that, Master of Puppets and stuff. And then they presented him with a replica of the actual guitar that he actually used in Stranger Things, and they signed it all for him as well. Just like he was just so chuffed. No, it's a fucking fly. It's not flying ants, it's bloody flies. I know it's bloody hot. Piss off. Ants in the glue like trolls in the pantry. Saw that also, loved it. Engine feel high. As I'm the fourth horseman. You're the fourth horseman? That's strange, because I'm the first horseman. Smash the likes. Up to 6. Yeah, actually, for those arriving fashionably late tonight, I did also bring in the Kratos. 2 Kratos! But it's better than 1 Kratos, 2 Kratos! So, in all their glory, fly by time. So, ooh. Not too bad, I don't think. They're all honky and chonky. And I'm looking very mysterious now. There was a semi-crusty declare. Oh my god, I look. Oh my god. Oh. 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 So yeah, it's a chunky boys. Let's get them up, because I was even scaring myself then. It was terrifying. I was like, and everything. I was fearful for my life. Smashed the like 6 mighty likes. As from Thursday, I've joined Metallica when I've started my second leisure. Taken after your uncle, no doubt. Beefy boys, Chrissy, the empress of ducks and geese and parrots as well, isn't it? Welcome. Thank you for dropping in. I saw you was checking out Blade Runner or something earlier on. So I hope you had a good time with that. Tonk, 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 tonk. Yes. All the tonk. So much tonk. Cool. Look, I swapped them. Ooh, which one's which? Yeah, no, I really do like this. Rate this kit quite highly. So get that higher so you actually get the full magnificence. And then I'm going to have that just ramping over the top. This is the ultimate formation. This is the Kratos Rhino configuration, which it will destroy and transport dudes wherever they are required to be transported and dudified. Lurkers like engage suitably dirtily when you get. Oh, shut up, you! Just because you're really good at weathering. Hey Luke, hey Rob, hello, and back in again. How was the fish carapace? Yes, I was. It was amazing. Yeah, that's the thing is when I spend a few years between viewings of Blade Runner, just so you can sort of forget a little bit, like you know the general stuff, but you can just forget a little bit. But then sometimes when you, like, especially if you're watching like the final cut or the director's cut or whatever cut, there's so much more to it, and you can sort of just take a little bit more detail from the viewing. He's unleashed the duck geese honk armada. All are Alfarius. It's a smexy looking tank, it is. Yeah, Heat's been here for a good chunk of the tonk time. Bless him. with his beer and Pringles and purple. It'll look awesome when we get all the alpha forces on the table. Yes, yes. So far we've had one dude meet up with some other dudes, but that's about it. Once we get a few of the Alpha Legion together, just to see them in all their glory, I really felt for the skin. That's the thing, though. It is, you know, looking at it from their point of view, which that's the whole point of the film. It's like, you know, you've got the replicants that are out there doing all this like work, and they're alive. They you know, just because they were created and, you know, in a biological tank or whatever, they look human, they act human, they're virtually undetectable from humans, and yet they're given like a 4-year lifespan sort of thing. And, you know, it is quite, you know, you could understand it from their point of view. You don't want to live. I think if humans are in that position and you said you can only live for 4 years, you go, I want to live for long. If you watch Logan's Run, that's the whole point of Logan's Run, is that they want to live longer. They have their crystals embedded in their hands, and if you've got a certain colour crystal, they live for longer. But then once it comes up that time's up, you've got to go into the death box and you're dead. And then, you know, it's like, oh, right, okay. But that's the thing, you know, Logan's Run is, and I've only just realised this, it is similar to Blade Runner, but just all human in a society of humans in a utopia, living in their sort of enclosed area. But yeah, so there's your evidence. So yeah, I agree. Logan, yeah, I would say I saw it obviously when I was young, so you sort of accept. I do enjoy watching the old movies every now and again, because you used to get a lot of sort of the old sci-fi, like even like the old sort of black and white sort of Buck Rogers and Flash Gordon on school holidays. You'd have them on at like 8:30 on a weekday. So join Flash Gordon as he goes to fight Ming the Merciless and all that sort of stuff. And so you're sort of used to seeing it. And I did watch, because they had it on, I think it was on Amazon Prime. They actually had like a movie runtime of Flash Gordon, the original Buster Crab stuff. And you watch that and you go, wow, you know. And I must admit, right, no, like, the special effects they were getting out of these things. So this is like 40s, I think, when they done Flash Gordon, like the first Flash Gordons. And, you know, when they first land in Mongo and they're walking along, and it's all the special effects is like they're superimposed with the backlit screen, and they've got these two iguanas, iguanas wearing like armored hats or something. They've stuck something on these iguanas, and these iguanas are being filmed having a fight against each other. And then obviously they've put the actors are miniaturized in front of this screen of these two fighting iguanas. It's brilliant. It's so bad, it's good. Yeah, it's one of those sort of situations. But yeah, some of the like the 70s sci-fi was very out there. It was like trying to find different things. But like when you sit back and actually think about what they're actually trying to teach there in the lesson and all that sort of stuff, it's sort of like Soylent Green and stuff like that, and Amiga Man or whatever. There is a point to what they're doing, but sometimes they just can't get to the point or do it. But yeah, it's one of those things like you just watch, you know, because they're only like about 80, 90 minutes, if that sort of thing. They were never like really long sort of movies, and it's just seeing these oldie stories compared to some of the modern stuff. They are still out there, cool, like Clockwork Orange. When I first saw that for the first time, I thought, why was it banned? It didn't seem that bad, you know, with ultra violence. And going down to the milk bar. Luke, slave driver Wingrove is forcing me to do war crime nonsense, so not had a chance to do the Carapace Feast. We'll try to get it ready for November walk though. Logan's Run was 70s dystopia, turned up to 11, followed on from The Prisoner and Westworld. You'll bring it. Yeah, Westworld is, again, that's a really good sort of like, you know, movie from those days. We were talking about The Prisoner earlier on, actually, because Judge is a fan of The Prisoner, and I mentioned that I'd actually been to Portmeirion where they filmed The Prisoner, and I recommend going there. Anyone that's over in Wales, go up northwest point where Portmeirion is, and have a lovely day out there, because it is a really beautiful area, and you know, you've seen this place on The Simpsons, recreated in Family Guy and other sort of, you know, TV shows that have sort of mentioned it, or you just done a bit of filming there. It's definitely worth just visiting because it is so different to anything you'll ever see. So definitely check that out. So yeah, so that was the show off the rear. There you go. Much like the rear of that one. But yeah, but that's oil weathering. I might put some weathering powder on it just to fill up, so he can't keep on making me feel bad. Not bothered at all. But yeah, so these little things, they're really cute. It's not what you expect to hear from a rugged Magos of the Omnissiah. But yeah, it's a cute tank. It's a box of funk, and I say I paid, was it because I got these from well, I've got them from Element Games and Darksphere. My orders split between the two. These were with their sort of discount. It was only working out to about 20 quid, so that's why they sold out. Because Rhinos were just like nice and cheap, and I think we need more mechanised units in Heresy. So I've got one out of the 3 that I bought. Got the 2 Kratos. I've still got the Spartan to get built as well. Plus the rest of the troops that I've got. And Terminators, Praetors, and all that jazz. And as some of you already know, because of the whole school holiday thing, I'm not getting a lot of hobby time. Because normally on my days off during the week, I get like, you know, a few hours on a Tuesday and Thursday to do hobby, but I've not been getting the time, and where it's been hot as well, it's been, you know, work's been busy in the heat. I just get so tired, and you know, as anyone would. So I've not been in the sort of the hobby zone as much. So that's why my progression this past month at least hasn't been that great. But you know, got a couple of tanks, got a couple of dreads. The last, the June and July really is, you know, a lot has been going on, but you know, it could be more. I'd love to see some plastic Mechanicum, especially Thanatar Siege Automata. Yes, I'd like anything plastic in Mechanicum, because Mechanicum is also Cybernetica in particular. I've got a lot of Automata from my previous, because that was my first army was Mechanicum, because initially, back in 2012, when me and a couple of friends were deciding what legions we were going to do, I wanted to do Emperor's Children, but my mate Jim, who was new to the hobby, wanted to do Emperor's Children. And there's nothing worse than having somebody who's a more experienced painter painting the same army and making your efforts look, you know, not as good, because it's quite demoralising. You know, if we were doing a hobby hangout, I've got my ones because I'm a bit more experienced painting compared to him. That would be horrible, because like I'll be sitting there going like, oh, look at my dudes, and he'd be like, why is my dudes not looking like that? And it's a negative, and it feeds, and it really does affect your hobby. So I decided to go Death Guard. But then on my fluffy side of things, because I really like Death Shrouds, but Death Shrouds are the elite bodyguard of Mortarion, and they're never more than 49 paces away from their Primarch. So because I wanted to do Loyalist ones, it didn't seem right, if you know what I mean. Like for me, these dudes, you wouldn't have a squad of them as Loyalists. They are the elite bodyguard to the Primarch. So yeah, so I painted one. And yes, so I decided, because at that point my loyalties were more to Ultramarines, but I knew that they weren't going to be around anytime soon, so I went with Mechanicum and got some Phalanx and some Castellax and went on from there. And then obviously as the other automata came out, I added them to the pot as well. I would like to see a Krios Titan conveyor, Trios conveyor in plastic, because in resin I don't even know how much they are now. They're like going to be easily £100. But I would like to see that in plastic, because you know, having transports for your Mechanicum would be pretty cool. Plastic Phalanx would be cool. Castellax plastic would be cool. Thanatar, yeah. We can only hope, but we haven't got long to wait, because the new book, I think Luke said, is August. I can't remember the roadmap, so August for that one, hopefully. And then more Mechanicum shenanigans running around. Sorry. But yes. Sturdy little box of doom. I like that. So yeah. What else is happening? Yeah, so for those who arrived late, next week it's only going to be Wednesday night. Wednesday night that I'm going to be on for Hobby Hangout, because I'm away for a few days at the end of the week, so I won't be on for the Saturday. So no Saturday Night Reaver next week. Yeah, so just the Wednesday, and then the following Wednesday we'll be back on, and then the following Saturday we'll be back on anyway. But yes, I think, and I've got to stop saying I was actually again watching something on a news feed, and the guy who was hosting it was basically saying about doing things where you're looking to fill a space, and that's why you say or and obviously when you are speaking to people in this sort of situation or doing a presentation, you don't want to be dropping the or the just to fill space when you don't need to. What you do is just pace out your speech better, so you have those little gaps for you to actually utilize to get the words lined up properly. It is really difficult to consciously stop it, but as you've just seen there, kind of, I stopped it for about a minute. It's really stressful trying to do that because you are constantly thinking about it. Take a breath, take a pause, regain some composure. Foxyfly. Hey Martin, hey dude. Yep, it's a very hard thing to stop and keep your sentences flowing. The joys of presenting. Exactly. Dagnammit! Done it again. It only works if you have script though, but if you are doing it on the fly, you can't help but use I'll be doing it on that fly. If he comes near me, like I've killed several flying ants so far this evening, that little git is, but I haven't got anything to kill it with. Yeah, you just hop around, you little fly buzz. Get off my tanks. Yeah. Dry slap you. I'm fighting a losing battle. Why? Thanks, Chrissy. Martin, cheers. One thing, actually, I was wanting to speak to the assembled crowd. Now, some of you probably wasn't watching the other week when fly ants are wicked. The ones that were here were red ones, and red ants over here are the stingy, bitey ones. You've got hands, or you can use Miyagi it up and get some chopsticks. I did that once. I honestly, no word of a lie, did catch a fly with chopsticks, and never again. But still, I've seen a few flies on your screen, and I thought they were mine. Go full Wookiee there. That's anyway. What I was trying to address was that the other week it came to be right. Okay, start fresh. So the other week, do it Revenge of the Nerds style, and I can look at booger. No, what happened the other week was I was in not badgered or forced in any which way to actually do like a read through. I've done it again. I know. I'm trying my best. A read through of a. I'll just give up. The fly is distracting me. I'm losing my cool. But yeah, anyways, so I done this London-esque East End version of Horus versus the Emperor. So what the question was, for market research for future shows as such, say shows, you know, hangouts, or even something as a side, was that should I do more of them? Should I actually get hold of a book, read a chapter, but do it in a different form of reading, just for shits and giggles, really, I suppose. It's come to my attention that apparently some people like it. So yeah, I was going to see what the great people of the viewing public thought of this stupid idea, but you know, it's out there. Yes, thank you, Christine. Give you a follow frog, nice Max. Hell yeah, do passages from the books. Well, that's what I thought. It's like doing, you know, one of the like heresy books, or the problem is I've got the latter heresy. I switched over to audiobooks. Obviously, earlier ones I have books, but I thought, like, you know, having, like, reading the passages or whatever, or like, you know, a chapter sort of thing, you know, and not doing like a Toby Longworth, because, you know, it's Toby Longworth, but doing something different and just doing like a, you know, the East End twang, which some people actually quite enjoyed. You know, my interpretation of said epic conflict, or the was nicknamed the boys' version of the Horus Heresy. Was that I Say Do It? I had a whale of a time reading out dialogue from Shakespeare Does Star Wars when I worked in Forbidden Planet a few years back. I had to do a few scenes with my boss. Oh, damn it! There was several years ago. I remember seeing a Comic Con, and he had a load of cartoon voice actors doing like Star Wars, but with characters there. So like you had like Billy West was one of them. He was the first one that springs to mind, and he was like doing, you know, Fry and, you know, all those sort of characters that he does. Like, he doesn't do Pinky. He does Pinky, I think, out of Pinky in the Brain as well. So you had all these sort of characters, and they each had, you know, they put out as a vote to the audience, and they had the guy who does the voice for the Batman, which I can't remember his name. I can see his face, but he was the narrator, sort of thing. And I think, I'm trying to think, it was Darth Vader. I think I'm gonna have to look it up on YouTube. It was hilarious though, just having all these sort of like Star Wars scenes jumping through, and you've got, like, you know, Pink in the Brain and other characters from other cartoon series doing Star Wars characters. It was just hilarious to see. So yeah, that sort of thing I thought would be good. Do something Wookiee. Be doing lots of Wookiee in October for the Brian's birthday roleplay, Star Wars roleplay weekend. That will be interesting, because I thought it would be funny when we first started this campaign, and he said, like, we're doing Star Wars, we want you to come along and play in it. I'm like, okay, can I play a Wookiee? And he's like, okay, but you have to speak Wookiee. And I mean, like, everything is in Wookiee. So my character is basically doesn't speak any language. He just. I've actually got one of those like little soundboards now, so I just go a lot of times, or I do improv. My buddy Paul, who's playing my my Han Solo to my Chewbacca type thing, so he actually speaks Wookiee, and there is an interpreter droid on the other side, sort of thing. But with my Wookiee, he sees everybody the same. Like, all humans are the same person, and so he calls him Dave. It's a Wookiee translation. He says, "Oh yeah, Dave over there, Dave. You know, Dave with 4 arms, Dave, him." So yeah. But yeah, I thought, okay, challenge accepted. So I had done Wookiee, and last year we had to dress up as our characters. So I did actually post that up on Twitter recently, I think, with me in my the lesser of the 2 masks that I had. The first one was proper nightmare fuel. It was a cheap kids Wookiee mask I got from Amazon for $9.99. The one that I ended up wearing was like a half face mask sort of thing with fur on it, and it cost me 30 quid, and it had to come over from Germany. It just turned up like 2 days before I actually had to leave for Brian's. So doing your own spin on some 40k books ought to be fun. Cool. Do it in some Wookiee again. Yeah, do it in Wookiee. You said Wookiee already, didn't you? Oh, I'm having flashbacks. I don't know what's going on. Shiri Wook. Yes. A Wookiee book. A book of Wook. So, yeah, that's definitely something I will continue with this market research because obviously I'm shy. But yeah, it does sound interesting, but it's finding the right things because obviously in that little excerpt I did the other week on the Saturday night, it wasn't last Saturday, was it? What was it? I don't know. It was a night, but it was no, I didn't know. Because you did, didn't you? I know a couple of my other friends actually got tickets to Celebration. If they were going to be doing like an altered round, or if there was a wait list, then yeah, definitely be up for something like that. I'll hold on a sec. I've just got to see something. Right, yeah. Because you got Saturday tickets. Oh yeah, so you're just doing the one day because it was at 3 days, isn't it? The whole thing, or was it 4? Because I know it was like my mate Brian, it was something like 180 quid or something. He was looking at. There's only Monday tickets left. Oh, well, unless I know somebody who's because I'm sure there'll be people that will basically go, I can't go now. Who wants to say if that comes up, if that becomes an availability, then I will definitely get my ass down there. Just what the Durkin? Yeah, I was. Yeah, so that I just sent you. My mate is over at Galaxy's Edge right now. He sent that when I was coming on to a thing, and that is the lightsaber he's built and bought. So yeah, I thought, oh wow, that is looking fucking sick. Yeah, that's yeah. 4 days. No, so I would, because that's the thing. It's like the ultimate for Star Wars fans everywhere. I've still, I've always had a plan as well to actually I want to do a Mandalorian get up because it's fucking Mandalorians. I love Mandalorians. In fact, most of my characters have some association with Mandalorians, apart from the Wookiee, because he's a Wookiee. Although he does work alongside a Mandalorian, but he's not on good terms with the Mandalorian because the Mandalorian is a proper bounty hunter, and he turned in somebody that I kind of liked. Wasn't impressed, and unfortunately that happened when I was actually at the game, so I couldn't actually do anything about it because I would have gone for him. That's the thing. It's like you have your own moral code in the games. Now, my character Grabbo, he's like a hired gun Wookiee, so he's a bit of a fighter. He does a little bit of gunnery and all that sort of stuff on the ships. Doesn't fly. He can drive a ground vehicle. Can't fly for shit. Doesn't know how to repair things that great, but he can rip people's arms out. And then, I punched a Rancor, so that's the kind of guy I am. But he has a moral code, which is quite strange because he's currently working for Black Sun. We got sort of stuck working from with the underworld, and we're doing shenanigans not against the party, but kind of against the party, because we've got our own hopes and dreams. I want to open a porg restaurant, not for porgs to visit, but for porgs for eating. Although I have been now told we have to find a substitute for porg because obviously they're only located on that one planet, and nobody knows how to get there. So yes, I have a Mandalorian with a Trandoshan sidekick and a robot called Twat. Right, so like me and my buddy, now my mate Paul, who plays this human like brash smuggler type, or inept brash smuggler, because he's the fly. We are the budget Han and Chewie, basically the Lidl's version. But he does a voice, and he does Kurg from from Thor Ragnarok, the stone thing, and he's perfect. So he's like, all right, bravo. But yes, all good. All right, no worries. Take care, and I'll speak to you later. See you later. Thanks for dropping in. But yeah, he's such a funny arsehole. It's brilliant. So I'm like doing like on my things, and he's like, hey, bravo. Yes, I think you're right. I think they are a bit of an arsehole. But we've got this cunning plan where one of the other party members, who's playing this interpreter droid, we're obsessed with abducting him and sticking a thermal detonator in him, or reprogramming like that we can control, so we can activate it when we want because we don't trust the others. So like if we're in a face-off and they're going, oh, there's that fly, that we can just go boop like that, and suddenly he goes into kill mode. It's brilliant. That's all part of the fun. Oh, so get out of it. But yes, so all good in the hood. Anyway, I think that's going to be it because this fly's annoying me and it's still fucking hot and I got work tomorrow. So we've got what we wanted done. We've built a Rhino. I've built it to how I want it with the melter cannon. Not a melter cannon, it's a multi-melter. But yeah, it's a really easy kit and looking forward to painting this little bugger. Anyway, I'd like to say thank you all once again for hanging out. I guess we'll be seeing you on Wednesday and hopefully be painting some dudes, which will be a bit of a strange one because we've just tipped it on the head, but never mind, we'll get something done anyway. So thanks again for hanging out. I hope you've all had an interesting evening. And then you've got some hobby done, which is all important. Thank you for the new guys that have dropped in today. I hope to see you again in the future. All the regulars who are returning, always love you having here. And obviously to become a regular, you have to turn up regularly. But yeah, so until then, take care of yourself. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, whatever you're doing. And I hope to see you soon. Yep, no worries, Nawalak. I'm sure I've gotten near enough. And see, oh, hey, MZ, hi and bye. Oh, sorry. Good night, folks. If you fun, hope you're enjoying. Night all, take care. And yes, I hope you're all cool, groovy. Love you all. Take peace and groovy and stuff. Until we meet again. Rawr!